Good afternoon to our international viewers and welcome back to the OR News broadcast. I'm Daniel Cook, your host for the English edition, weekdays at 6 p.m. According to the General Tax Directorate, any fines that are unfairly imposed on businesses due to errors in the system are going to be forgiven. The Tax Directorate has instructed its regional departments to verify each subject in these cases. If the fines have been paid by the taxpayer, they will be considered surplus credit and can be applied to other obligations in the future. Official sources from the General Tax Directorate gave the following explanation to OR News. After the expression of valid concerns by the taxpayers pursuant to the law on tax procedures, the General Directorate of Taxation has ordered all the regional directorates to verify every business that has been unfairly penalized. These cases relate to the taxpayers who are registered for any tax in the system, but were not notified by the administration about their registration. For these cases, the fines will be forgiven, and if they have already been paid by the entity, they will be considered as a surplus credit and can be used by the taxpayer to repay other obligations. The sources informed us that the process of verifying these cases will be finished within a few days' time. Yesterday, the Bank of Albania issued reports about declining demand for business loans, despite the easing of loan conditions by the banks. Albania's financial experts say that this is clear evidence of economic stagnation and a difficult relationship between the banking system and the private entrepreneurship. They are also quite concerned about the decline of public faith in two of the basic sectors of the economy, construction and trade. The experts comment on the drop in consumer confidence in these two sectors, saying that it is a bad indicator for the economy. The same was indicated by the Central Bank of Albania. According to them, the decline of confidence in the trade sector is a confirmation of the weak consumption in the country. Regarding the drop of public trust in the construction sector, the experts list several probable causes. According to them, the construction sector never came out of its stalemate and never paid its arrears, which primarily involved taxes and debts to businesses. The government presented its new proposal on property compensation today. Prime Minister Rama introduced the reform, saying that within 10 years it will resolve Albania's property problems. Prime Minister Rama spoke ill about the judges who have been involved in causing these property issues, referring to them as criminal gangs who create more problems than they solve. He said, "In Albania, there are more property claims than the surface of the land in our country. If we have 28,000 square meters of land, the claims are for double that amount. This is an absurdity that has been created by the criminal gangs in the justice system. The new reform will solve these property problems within 10 years, said Prime Minister Rama. The Minister of Finance supported this claim, saying that the draft that has been proposed will resolve the issues of properties once and for all. He added that there will be an annual fund added to the state budget for compensating expropriations. According to him, this fund is going to be set at 5 billion lek per year. The director of the agency in charge of compensation for properties, Sonila Chato, made the statement that the rights of property owners have not been applied for the past 23 years. While the Prime Minister was presenting the new property reform today, a group of people from the National Association of Property Owners stood up and left the hall. When asked about the reason for this, they said that they were not pleased with the fact that the association that defends the rights of property owners was not part of drafting this reform. They said that the politicians are to blame for destroying the property rights in Albania, and that now the government led by these politicians has drafted the reform. They did not indicate a political bias, as according to them, all the governments that have ruled Albania have taken part in destroying the property rights. One member said, "The state confiscates properties from their legal owners and sells them to third parties." Another said, "I have proof of people selling hundreds of acres of land to politicians for only €1. The representatives of the Association of Property Owners were invited to the presentation of the reform as stakeholders and partners of the government. The new draft of the law on concessions was a source of debate between the majority and the opposition in today's plenary session. Although the opposition had expressed support for the draft, they were skeptical about a number of changes that had been made, saying that the draft does not bring any new innovation to attract foreign investors. The Minister of Economy, Arben Ahmetai, defended the draft, saying that under the new law, concessions will no longer be a fiscal burden on the citizens. The bill consists of 4 significant changes. It limits the procedural deadline for the approval of a concession to 60 days. It sets an evaluation criteria, it defines the economic value of concessions, and it includes agricultural concessions. An environmental association called To Defend the Rivers is suggesting that the government should draft a memorandum that would stop the construction of hydropower facilities on the rivers of Albania. This would last for a period of 3 years. The environmentalist Abdullah Diku gave a list of reasons for this proposal. He said, Albania cannot become a tourist attraction with hydropower plants and mineral facilities being built in the protected areas. It can become a tourist attraction by supporting the rural populations that live there. The tourism industry has a big impact on the gross domestic production, said Mr. Diku. The association has asked the government to review the permits that it has given to the hydropower industry, especially along the Vjosa River. They believe that revoking these permits will help to preserve Albania's natural environment. On Saturday, the Socialist Party will be gathering for their first General Assembly since the local elections on June 21st. In addition to giving a preliminary analysis of their success in the local elections, the Assembly will also announce an initiative for some changes to their party statutes. It has been learned that the Assembly will establish a special team to draft the amendments to the statutes, which are going to be given a new focus under the new territorial division. The party branches are expected to be organized by municipality, meaning that there will be at least 61 Socialist Party branch leaders. It is also expected that the MPs will be organized by the areas in which they were elected in order to prepare for the upcoming political elections. The Assembly will also be setting the stage for the election of new secretaries, since the current terms are about to expire. There had been some rumors that if the party was victorious in the local elections, they would not elect a new party head. However, Prime Minister Rama put these rumors to rest, saying that there will be a complete and comprehensive election of the party's leaders, from his own position as the head of the party to the lowest level directors. That's the end of our news edition for today, ladies and gentlemen. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time for more translated news in English. Thanks, and have a great evening.